Welcome to another Stellar XLM update. So in this video, I'm going to go through the waves in a more comprehensive manner, laying out every single wave that has happened since 2017, or basically the end of 2017, and how this particular correction has been unfolding since then. And it reminds me a little bit of how Bitcoin has been moving as well. Very similar, sort of, in terms that it went down for the dip and back up to all-time highs. Now, what does this mean? Now, if you understand RS wave, there's always 5 waves in a correction, and they always unfold differently in each market. That these waves are not always the same in every market. They can be very expanded in some markets, and we have names for all these kinds of expanded waves. So Elliott wave basically will give you the ABC treatment, and sometimes I'll throw in some BS combinations as well, just to make up for the fluff that didn't make up for the waves that they missed. So in this case here, what we can see is the first A wave already completed, and it ended down in March 2020. So all the waves are in there and accounted for. You can see them. I've marked them out: A, B, C, D, E. D was the largest in the B wave here, like so. So you had your A, your B, your C, right? This correction is considered an expanded correction because the B wave didn't end, basically didn't end around the same area as the end of wave A, right? So if you put the line there, you can see that it ended below it, right? So that's what I consider an expanded type 2 zigzag. So then we had the B wave, which was also expanded. The B wave also did not end or touch the end of wave A, right there. So the key differences with these waves here, the B wave in wave B, the CDE pattern happened in a zigzag fashion, right? So you can see it there. There's a 5 wave move, a 3 wave move, and a 5 wave move, right? So going through these carefully now that I've put some ideas out already, and so now I'm just refining these ideas along the way as I make my way through these coins, and I will be definitely analyzing coins that have been suggested in previous videos by down in the comments in that Ripple video. So what lies ahead? What do I think lies ahead for XLM? Now, it's pretty clear in this case that we have an AB pattern, right? So what comes next can happen in either of 2 ways, right? You could potentially see something like you could see the C wave come down very sharply and deeply, like so, and then you might see the D wave pop up like this, and then the E wave down like that, to create basically like a contracting triangle. Now, I don't really like using the term triangle. Triangle is basically just when price is calling up, consolidating for a move higher, right? So potentially what we could be seeing is the end of the correction might perform this action in this way. That wouldn't surprise me too much. That would be basically towards the end of the year, we'd start to see this happen. Now, the other thing that could happen is that the C wave might end up being the similar length as wave E. So that could also happen potentially. Now, this obviously is just for illustration purposes. I'm not saying that it's going to go this low. Another thing that can happen, and sometimes does happen, is the C wave is a bit shorter, and then the D wave is small, as we saw here in this area. The same thing can happen for the rest of the correction here. So if I just give you an example quickly, we could see, sorry, one sec. We could see this type of thing, like so, right? And that would finish off the correction. That would be the end of wave 2, right? So I'm basically laying it all out there, color-coded waves, so you could sort of try and picture in your mind what I'm talking about, right? Because it's very easy to just say, oh, this wave. But at the end of the day, you can see how it's happened in previous waves, right? And how they can vary. The waves can vary. So you can't always predict what they're going to look like, but you can, once it's sort of completed, you can sort of make the judgment call that, yeah, that looks done. But when I don't see a complete correction, I tend to not assume that it's just going to keep going up, because especially if you follow Elliott wave, you could say, oh, there's an ABC here somewhere, right? Because every Elliottician has a different view on the markets. But I tend to look for the complete pattern first, and then I can say, yeah, this is going up now, right? But this, I cannot see a complete pattern yet. All I can see is an A and a B in this scenario. So we still haven't seen the rest of the CDE waves happen. Now, I've given you what I think can happen. There's two ways this can unfold, but either way, there may be some differences. Who knows? We'll just have to pay attention, right? But just due to what I think Bitcoin is going to do, well, what Bitcoin might do, let's have a look quickly at that Bitcoin chart for a moment, actually, just so we can understand what the target is. And this is why I believe altcoins are still around the all-time highs or their current highs, is because Bitcoin is sort of keeping the market in a strong, it's keeping it strong, right? It's keeping it elevated for the time being. Right, so here I have marked out what I believe is wave 3 within this C wave, right? And I can see clearly 5 waves in there, so that's why I'm calling that the wave 3. Yeah, wave 2 here was expanded, and then wave 4 was not expanded, it just ended lower, below the end of wave 3. Wave 2 ended just slightly more expanded above the end of wave 1. So that's just wave 3. Now we're talking about wave 1 and 2 in the blue here. So I've taken the length of what I believe is wave 1, and I've calculated it from the end of what I believe is the end of wave 4, and giving you a target now of about $71,000 or 70,000, whatever. It could go a little bit higher. Well, usually it goes higher. With Bitcoin saying it could go a little bit lower, it's just, yeah. Anyway, so not the point. So it's understandable if you think that this is going to keep going higher and higher and higher and higher straight away, because of the strength that this market has produced. And I've seen many zigzags where the C wave has gone pretty crazy, and then it's just come all the way back down again. It's just, it's a mania, it's a bubble, right? Now, because I'm starting to use the evidence in all the other altcoins now, that's why I'm going to continue to put these ideas out, especially using ideas from people, who suggest certain coins. That way we can just build this case slowly. And, you just put it all together, and it starts to make sense, right? I mean, if I'm just looking at Bitcoin alone, this is not going to be very helpful, right? If we're looking at the general market, then that's going to definitely help with the analysis. So I haven't put out all the waves. That this is an A wave here, right? I haven't marked it. I have marked it in previous charts. That's the A wave, and obviously that's the B wave. So that's basically it for the target. That wave 4 there, to me, that looks basically right. Now, if we just zoom in for a moment, I just want to illustrate these waves for you so you can see what I mean. So this one I am counting as A. This one I am counting as B, right? This and then you got your CDE pattern, right? So I am counting that as a C, like that. This one as a D, like so, and then this is the E wave, right? So very interesting time right now, because if we break that high, as soon as we break that high, that confirms, in my opinion, that wave 4 did complete, and this is actually the last wave in wave 5 right now. Okay, so we just put that line across there. So when it breaks 60,000 and a little bit more than that, basically when it crosses that line, that's when I believe it's confirmed that wave 4 did finish, and then we're going for that target, right? So in essence, we'd be looking like, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5, something like that, right? Just roughly, just sort of trying to give you an idea, right? I don't really want to get into trying to break down this wave. It's just, I just don't see the point. So yeah, whatever on that. So let's just go back to the daily chart for a moment. I just want to illustrate one more thing before we go back to the Stellar chart, just to really get some kind of indication that that was wave 3, right? We can see, actually, let's try the 4-hour. Right, so on the wave 3, you can see that we had the initial move, the RSI was at the highest point. All right, so that's pretty indicative of wave 3 price action. But as it progressed, basically we saw the RSI, the strength of that move, it just went lower and lower until we went into the wave 4 correction there. Right, so to me, that's good enough evidence that that's a wave 3. And then if you go to the daily chart, I think it's the daily, you can see that the RSI is just slowly stepping down, moving lower and lower, and then at some point, it'll just basically go for the next move down. So what is that next move down? Well, obviously it's a C wave, right? Now, I've explained to you how this can potentially unfold, right? So it could be C like that, D like that, and then the E it could happen like that, right? Or it could happen like a big C, D, E. It could turn into a triangle, just like I explained to you in the last chart for XLM, right? The only difference with this is that it's just basically the most popular coin, and it's been bidded up higher than all of them. Obviously, we know that, right? So there's no need to get into that. So back to the XLM chart. Now I will be growing the coins that I analyze shortly. I just wanted to start with the two. Well, basically, two of my most favorite coins. I do have others, but I will sort of just be going with the comments at this stage, right? And working on the analysis. Now, mind you, if there isn't data that goes back to 2017 on certain coins, I'm going to do my best to try and give you my thoughts based on the overall picture in the overall crypto market, right? So bear with me on that one. If I can't adequately produce anything worthwhile, then I'll just have to skip it, unfortunately. So we'll just see how we go with that one. So at the moment, you can see that it's similar to the Bitcoin chart. We've had the A and the B wave, right? Now, could this potentially make another high? You know what? It's possible, right? Because this was a wave 1, 2, 3, and then wave 2 was like, sorry, let me just Let me just go down to the 4-hour chart to explain this quickly. So here we saw wave 1, 2, 3, right? Now, whether or not this is still part of wave 3 here, it's possible, but it could just mean that it could just be that this is 1, 2, 3, and then we're having an expanded correction, right? Because we had wave 2 was short and sharp, wave 4 potentially long and drawn out. Otherwise, it could be that, and this is also potentially also the case, that was actually wave 3 there, and now basically wave 4 is happening or has been happening, and it's kind of like a 3, 3, 5, 3, 5 scenario, but that one isn't quite the lowest point here, and that's zigzag. So yeah, just basically got to just keep watching this one short term. It may not make a new high. This could be the completed C wave here, because it just makes the most sense if you think about it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It makes a lot more sense that is completed now. So yeah, leaning towards the already completed side, and this is basically just going to be the beginning of the next move down. If you're looking at it from like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 perspective, this could be wave 1 right here, and this could be like A, B, and you're getting your C, D, E now, or something like that, right? So that means if that's the case, then it can't make a new high. It can't go above the top, right? So potentially it'll just continue to sort of consolidate until the time comes when it's going to move down. Okay. So as you know, as I mentioned in the Bitcoin chart, it's probably because of Bitcoin's price action at the moment that these markets are hanging around the highs, right? So let's just see how we go. But hopefully you found this video interesting and informative. Thank you for watching.